Hi y'all, Dan here. Thanks for joining me.
Hello and thanks for joining me. I'm on a little side trail from the Bicentennial Greenway called Patchbox Trail. This video is going to be different because it's really not going to be about the trail. It's going to be about what I carry on my hikes and how I pack my backpack. Let me give you a bit of a backstory. When I was a young lieutenant, the very first task that I was given by my company commander was to develop a load plan for our company. We were an engineer company. We had a lot of heavy equipment. Our cooking section had all of their stoves and cooking equipment. We had all the parts, spare parts. We had our medical section, so we had all the gear that our medics needed. And then we just had all the general stuff to operate in the field for an extended period of time. I was given this task to take everything that we had, put it in boxes, and then place that in our 30 dump trucks that were part of our company. So through the years of military service, my family and I, we moved a lot. And my wife and children would laugh at me and call it Dad's magic, because I would load up our cars with all of our stuff to go on the road, and they didn't know how I could keep fitting it in. Well, that has served me well, and now as I get ready to show you my backpack, I think it's, for me, the most efficient way that I know how to pack it. Just a few things about it. I weighed this pack this morning. In here I have 3 days worth of food, and the total weight of my backpack is 22.5 pounds. No, it's 24.5 pounds. 24.5 pounds. I'll put what that is in kilograms down below. So that's what I'm working with, and as I take it apart, I'll tell you a little bit more about my pack, and then also about how I've packed it and what goes in it. So let's get started. As I get started, I'm going to first show you some of the camera equipment that I'm using. First, let me show you this little thing that I sent back to DJI and had them fix for me. This is called the Osmo Pocket. It's a little gimbal, pretty amazing little camera, and I've used it on several trails, and then when I was hiking the Mountain to Sea trail, I tweaked the gimbal and it stopped working. I got it back from DJI. They were so gracious, they did not charge me anything. So this little part here is actually the camera, and as you can see, it's got this, keep my fingers out of the camera, it's got this little gimbal on the front that articulates and turns, and it stabilizes. Pretty amazing little tool. This is the extension rod for it, and so you can control everything from this rod. I'll push this button and that'll turn the power on. So watch the gimbal. Now it's up. When you have a little bitty screen, and you push the red button, and it will start recording. The other thing, this button here, I have it programmed so that if I push it, it turns around. Next camera that I got recently is this GoPro. It's a HERO8 Black, and I'm still getting used to using it, but it has all kinds of neat things too. It stabilizes the video amazingly well, and you can preset for different things. So I have a trail setting, and then I have a cinematic setting, I have a selfie setting, and so I can just, by just pushing a button that's on the touch screen on the back, I can change the settings for that, that environment that I'm working with. Well, let me start by just telling you a little bit about my backpack. This is an Osprey Atmos 65. This is a 65-liter backpack that actually my wife bought for me from the LL Bean store in Maine. We were up in Maine on vacation and visited the store, and their customer service is amazing. The young man, as we were looking at packs, he picked this one out after I described what I was going to do, suggested this might be the pack that I'd want. No pressure at all. Told me all about the pack. Then he sized it for me and took and put 25 pounds of weight inside the pack and told me to walk around the store. So I walked around the store for actually probably a couple of hours, and before deciding, yes, this is the one I wanted. It was very comfortable. Some of the things I like about it, unlike the ultralight packs, which this is not, this weighs about 3.5 pounds, empty. This is a framed pack. It has an internal frame in it, and what I like about that is it will shift the weight down to my hips. So as I tighten up the hip belts, and it rests right on my hips, and so I carry the weight of the pack on my hips. And when my lower back or my hips start to grow tired, then I can adjust the shoulder strap and move some of that weight up more into my shoulders by adjusting the chest strap on that. So I love this pack. It has served me well. I'm very pleased with it. As far as the cons, many people complain about these pockets, these little pockets that are in the hip belts, talking about how that they are hard to zip and unzip with one hand when you've got it on you. That is true. I typically don't carry anything in there. Sometimes I may put my camera in it if I don't think I'm going to use it for a while. I might put snacks in there, but typically I just don't use those. So that's the con that I have to it, but the pros certainly outweigh that for me. I also recently got this camera mount. This is a Stuntman camera mount, and it is a ball bearing articulated, so you can adjust it any way that you want to, any way that you need for the angle. And it has the GoPro mount on it, so my new GoPro camera just goes right there, and I just have it right here beside my face. And it's out of my way. I don't see it. It doesn't bother me, but it also gives a picture of what I'm seeing. So I love this mount so far. It has 2 Velcro straps on it. It holds it in place. I don't feel it. It's very comfortable, and it doesn't change the feeling from my shoulder strap. And it also, these 2 Velcro straps fit very firmly. It doesn't slip. It hasn't slipped at all. Now inside this top portion, this is what is often called the brain of the pack. I have a couple of things. One is I keep my journal. I keep it in a Ziploc bag, and that way I have it when I want to make notes or write. I also have a backpack cover, a rain cover. I got the extra large Osprey backpack rain cover. For this pack, they recommended the large, but then I had read that if you have anything hanging on your pack, that the large is really tight. So I got the extra large. I'm really glad I did. I have used it many times, and it covers everything well, and it keeps everything dry, which is very important, to keep all your stuff as dry for as long as you can. Speaking of rain and why you need to keep things dry, this is my rain jacket. It folds up into its left pocket, and it's not the lightest rain jacket, but it's very good, and I use it both as a rain jacket or a windbreaker. This is from REI. I got this jacket in their worn clothing, their used clothing, and I would never have known that it was not brand new. It has served me well. I have used this quite a bit. It's got a great hood on it that covers. The hood will roll up into a little pouch on the back if you want it to, and to get it out of the way and just use it as a windbreaker if you wish. it will just sort of roll up into its own little stuff sack in this pocket. Just like that. This is my down jacket. I use this when I layer. I've never been cold with this jacket. I really like it. It's an 800 down feel. It's from Decathlon, and there has been reviews on this jacket comparing it to much more expensive jackets. I paid $80 for this, and I liked it so much that I bought my wife one. There it is. Look on the other side of the pack. In this pocket, which is a stretchable mesh pocket that you can put wet things in, what I keep is my little squeeze bottle for my water filtration system. And then if clothes get wet or towels are wet and I want them out of the way, I just stuff them down in this pocket. And on the sides, there's two side pockets. In this side pocket, I keep some microfiber towels. And these have been very helpful. They're small, they're lightweight. In addition to these, I've got a couple of lights that I use. They're very light. One is my Black Diamond headlamp. It uses 3 AAA batteries. It's still very light, and I didn't want a rechargeable light because I have so many rechargeable things I take out on the trail. I just didn't want to have one more thing I had to charge. So I do carry extra batteries for this. However, I've had this now for about 10 months, had it on a number of hikes, and the batteries still seem to be very strong. So they last a long time. And then the other light is the famous Harbor Freight free light, free LED light. And I use this to hang up in my tent. It has a nice little hook on it, and so I can just hang it up in the top of my tent, and at night I have light as I'm reading or journaling, and I like that. So those are my lights that I keep in this side of the tent. Or the side of the pack. I keep calling it a tent. Here's the other side. And what I have in here is my toiletry. I have some hand sanitizer. I keep my my trowel in here, and I keep some insect repellent and some toilet paper and a Bic lighter. And so I have from my old Boy Scout days, I try to keep 3 sources of fire. So I have 1 lighter in here, and I keep a couple with my cooking kit. That's the side pockets. Here is my sit pad. This has been well worth it. I think I paid $3 or $4 for this. Senior Hiker 77 talked about having one of these and how it saved his knees when he was setting up his tent. Very true. I use this when I'm setting up my tent. Saves my knees, and it also I'll throw it over a log or lay it on the ground to sit on, and it's awesome and extremely light. I mean, it weighs nothing. So I love my seat pad. In this very bottom compartment is my tent. My Z-Packs duplex made from Dyneema, extremely light, about the size of a football. I have really enjoyed this, and I'll take you home with me and show you how I set this up at home in my backyard. So that's my tent. Now let's get inside inside the pack and let you see what I have in here. Okay. First thing that you'll see is this backpack liner. I've tried trash bags, I've tried leaf bags, I've tried several things, and they work fine, except I would continue to tear holes in them. And this is an Osprey backpack liner. It's made from a ripstop nylon. It's very light, very durable, and it keeps everything very dry. So I've been pleased with having this backpack liner. The very first thing I have in my tent, keep calling it a tent. First thing I have in my backpack is my food bag at the top. Seems like when I get to camp, this is the first thing that comes out. I'll set it up so I can have some coffee, and then I get ready to hang it. So inside, this is an sack. It's supposed to be bear proof. It's a bulletproof material, and I highly recommend it. It's very light and very packable. You can tie it together, seal the top, and they suggest either just tying it around the base of a tree, or what I typically do is I hang it like a regular bear hang. But these ropes have reflective material in it, so early in the morning when I go looking for it, I can shine my light and it just glows. So I really like this sack. Inside the sack is another sack, and this is called an op sack. This is a double sealed sack that I put all my food in. I can put up to about 7 days of food in here. 3 meals and all my snacks. I can get it packed in here, and then what this does, it seals the smells in, and so hopefully the critters can't smell the food and be attracted to my sack and my food. So this is the op sack. I just get the large one, and I put it in. This is called the major extra large sack, and I really like it. Next down is well, let me get this. This is my cook set. In my cook set, I have this little 3-liter stuff sack that I put it all in, and I have my spork, the typical hiker spork, it seems like. This is a titanium spork that I got, and it has, on the top of it, it has a little hook that I can hook my lid, but it also has a punch. And what this is for is, once you've used up all your fuel in your fuel canister, you can punch a hole in it and crush it, and it takes up less space, but it's also, when you dispose of it, you're not disposing of a pressurized gas can. So I like this little sport. It's very light and very durable. And the thing about titanium is how quickly it cools. So let me just look here real quick. In the bottom of this sack is I keep my cup, and it's just a cup that I got from Walmart, actually. I think this was $2. You can get them other places, and you can pay $7 if you want, but this has been fine for me, and it just collapses, and it fits in the bottom of my sack, and it provides some protection for the tip of my gas can that I'll show you in just a bit. Here. So inside here is first my gas can. Just a little trick that I do on this is that every time I use it to boil with, I'll take my knife and I'll just scratch a mark, a little tick mark on the side of the can, and then I know how many times I've used this can. I've got 7 boils out of this so far, and typically this size of can, and this is just a Coleman gas can, it has worked again well for me, and I have gotten, let's see, 24 boils out of the can, and had more to go. So right now I just save them, but I know that it will take typically more than 20 boils. My little Tokes titanium pot. This is a 550 milliliter pot. This is the only thing that I have to cook with. I do all my water boils in here so that I really don't cook in this. I just boil water and then I pour it into the container where the food is. And then I have this cloth here that I use as sort of a washcloth to clean up my food or my cooking stove with, my cooking equipment with, and it also keeps things from rattling around in there. And then I have my little MSR Pocket Rocket 2 camp stove. Love this stove. It has served me well. But one of the things I like about it is if you look at the top of it, it's got this little wind barrier, and you think, well, that won't do much. But I've been in some high winds, and it might blow out one or two of these sides, but then the third one will kick in and reignite it, and I've never had my stove to be blown out by the wind. And then finally, I have a couple of big lighters, disposable lighters that I put in here, so I have my 3 sources of fire. And that all fits together with the lid on it. And I put it down in this little stuff sack that I got with my my Tokes pot. And I know a lot of people throw this away. They say that it's extra weight, but while it doesn't really weigh much, and what it does is it provides me sort of a good seal to keep my pot together. And then I put it all back in my stuff sack, just like that. That's my cooking kit. And there it is. Next in here, another stuff sack. And this is a 6-liter stuff sack, and it has all of my clothes in it. It has my underwear, my spare socks. I wear 1 pair of socks, I carry 2. It also has, I have 2 pairs of shorts and 2 t-shirts, quick dry t-shirts, and then I have a base layer. I have leggings and long sleeve merino wool, very thin top that I use to layer up when it's cold out. And I just keep this all the time. I don't really change up my gear based on the seasons. I know some do. For me, it's more simple just to keep everything that I have with me all the time. That's my clothing sack. And then this is my mattress. This is a Big Agnes Ultra Air Core insulated air mattress. And I love this thing. Inside here, I have a couple of things. I have one is this little Outdoor Vitals pillow. If you look for deals, you can find some really good things. This was advertised free with shipping, so I think I paid $7 for the shipping and handling, and this has been well worth it. I've tried other pillows and just haven't been pleased with them, but this one works well. The disadvantage of this, like a lot of the air inflated pillows, is that it will slip around on you at night. So what I do is I have a mummy sleeping bag, and it's got the hood on it, and I take this and I slip it into that hood, and that holds it in place like a pillowcase, and it doesn't slip around. So that's sort of my trick and my hack when it comes to taking care of my pillow. Also in here is this. This is sort of like a bellows to inflate my sleeping bag with. It's built like a stuff sack or a dry sack. This is also made by Big Agnes. And what you do is you take it, and the end snaps down onto the air mattress itself. And when you open it up, you pull this out. You can just get some air. And look at that. That's how much air you have. You have a lot of air, and then you just push it in, and it pushes into the air mattress. It takes me about 4 of these to fill up my air mattress, and the advantage of that is I still have my breath at the end of it. I don't get out of breath by trying to blow up my airbag. It also keeps me from putting moisture in it, and I hope doesn't cause mold to grow on the inside, the way that sometimes when you're breathing into a bag and the moisture is there, and it just causes ugly stuff to happen. So I think this is a better way of doing it. All of this fits down into this little stuff sack, so that I have sort of like a system. I have all of my sleeping gear together. There it is. Next is my what I call my maintenance kit. My maintenance kit is a first aid kit. It's my toothbrush and toothpaste. I have my water filter in here, and that typically comes out early, and I just keep it with me. But at night, I'll take the water filter, and I'll put it in the toe box of my sleeping bag with me, so that it doesn't freeze. It stays warm with my body, but it's also not annoying. It's not running around. I have a little pack of tenacious tape patches that I keep in just for maintenance, and then I also have my first aid kit in here. And finally, it's my sleeping bag. And you can see I just sort of stuff it down inside there. This is a REI Igneo 17-degree sleeping bag. It's down-filled. I love this bag. My wife also bought this for me. Darwin on the Trail talk about different hiking hacks. And one of the things that he had suggested was taking your clothes and putting it in the toe box of your sleeping bag. That's what I did. I've got a spare pair of pants and a spare shirt that typically I wouldn't carry, but I always wanted an extra change of clothes when I needed it, and now I can do that. And again, you know, it really hasn't added that much to my base weight. Sleeping bag liner. This gives you a little more insulation in your sleeping bag, but what I really use it for is in weather like this, when it's hot. The sleeping bag is just too much. Again, I carry everything with me all the time. I don't send stuff back and have to do the logistics changes. I can put this on top of my air mattress, and I'm not laying on that plastic air mattress that just bugs me. This gives me a little comfort there, but it's too hot to get in, so I like to be in something I slip into this little sleeping bag liner, and that's the way I sleep when it's hot in summer. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Wandering Monk. I want to thank you for joining me. I hope that there was something in here that might be helpful to you in your journeys and your adventures. And if you'd like for me to do more of these, please just let me know in the comments and what you would like to see. So the channel continues to grow. I just want to thank all of you who have subscribed, and if you're watching this and it's something that strikes your interest and you find that it's helpful to you, I welcome you to subscribe and join us as we continue on these adventures of a wandering monk. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay on the path. God bless.